Okay, so we are ready to dive in.
Mm.
You have given us just an incredible amount of material to look at on technology, AI, and the search for meaning.
Wow. Yes.
We're going to be looking at excerpts from Meghan O'Gieblyn's book, God, Human Animal Machine,
Okay.
and then also this incredible bibliography that you've given us with philosophy, AI, and history.
Sounds good.
Clearly, this is a topic that is of great interest to you, how we grapple with these really big questions in a world that's driven by technology.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited to kind of uncover some insights with you today.
Yeah, me too.
So Giblin starts her book with this story about IBO, this robotic dog that she brings home.
Oh, interesting.
Not even to have as like a pet, but for research.
Okay.
But she talks about how she actually started to form this bond with this machine.
Interesting.
Have you ever felt any kind of a twinge of that with technology, even something as simple as, relying on your phone for GPS or...
It's funny you should ask that because I actually, I was just thinking about that the other day because I got a new phone
Yeah.
and has all these new features and I'm finding myself like really relying on it more and more. And it is kind of strange because it's like a little bit of a crutch almost.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's definitely, I think it's a natural human tendency.
It is. And I think, she uses that as this great illustration for how we tend to anthropomorphize.
Oh, yeah.
We see faces in the clouds, we see meaning and randomness.
Right.
So it's really natural for us to start projecting these human qualities onto machines,
Mm-hmm.
especially as they're designed to look more and more like us or like animals.
Especially when they're designed to mimic us, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like you think about those robot vacuums that have those cute names, we almost can't help but treat them like pets.
It's true. I mean, they're
Don't they?
scooting around on the floor and they're like doing their little thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And IBO was built to act like a dog, so it makes sense that she started to feel that connection.
Yeah.
And as AI gets more complex, it really begs the question, are we just using handy metaphors, or are these metaphors actually starting to change how we think about being human?
Right. Because it's like
I
the
mean-
more we use these metaphors, the more we start to believe them almost.
It's like we're already living in a sci-fi novel.
Yeah.
We talk about downloading information or having mental firewalls. It's like the language of machines is becoming the language of our own minds.
Exactly. And this gets to the heart of Max Weber's disenchantment thesis.
Right.
The idea that science has kind of stripped away the mystery and the meaning from the world.
Right. Instead of spirits and magic, we've got cold, hard facts.
Right. And, you've probably felt this yourself. The more we understand the world scientifically, the less magical it seems.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so Weber called this disenchantment.
And it makes you wonder if technology is our new magic. What kind of meaning are we finding in it?
Oh, that's a great question.
That's a good one.
It is a good question.
And O'Gieblyn actually argues that we're trying to re-enchant the world, but through technology this time.
Interesting.
So it's AI, virtual reality, even the idea of uploading our minds.
Yeah.
It's like we're searching for transcendence in the digital realm.
Like we've replaced the gods with algorithms.
Exactly.
But is this desire for something more just a fundamental part of being human,
Yeah.
regardless of whether we seek it through religion or philosophy or now technology?
That is the question. And, she brings up this concept of imago Dei,
Okay.
humans made in God's image. And traditionally, this was linked to our ability to reason and to be conscious.
Right.
But if AI can be intelligent and creative, what does that mean for our definition of being human?
That's a huge question.
Does AI challenge the very idea of what consciousness is?
It definitely shakes things up.
Yeah.
If the line between human and machine intelligence keeps blurring,
Yeah.
we have to ask what truly makes us conscious.
Yeah.
Can it exist outside of a biological being?
Right.
Can a machine ever really be conscious the way we are?
It's like science fiction is becoming reality right before our eyes.
Totally.
And speaking of science fiction, that kind of leads us to the simulation hypothesis.
Okay.
The idea that we might be living in a computer simulation
Whoa.
created by a more advanced intelligence.
Whoa.
It's a wild concept, but some serious thinkers like Nick Bostrom have entertained it.
I've heard of him.
He argues that if future civilizations can create realistic simulations with conscious beings, then statistically, it's likely that we're already in one. So it's like a modern creation myth,
Yeah.
where advanced programmers have replaced the divine creator.
Interesting.
And Gieblyn even links this back to arguments for God's existence.
Oh, wow.
So people have pointed to the fine-tuning of the universe, how perfectly things are set up for life, as evidence of a creator.
Right.
The simulation hypothesis offers a different explanation for that fine-tuning.
Okay.
But it's important to remember this is still a hypothesis.
Right.
There's no definitive proof either way.
Right. It's a thought experiment
Exactly.
more than anything. And O'Gieblyn doesn't shy away from the potential downsides of technology either.
Of course.
And one that comes to mind is algorithmic bias.
yeah.
So we often think of algorithms as objective, impartial, free from human bias, but they're only as good as the data that they're trained on.
And where does that data come from?
Exactly.
Yeah, it comes from us.
And if that data reflects existing biases in society, then the algorithm will simply perpetuate or even amplify those biases.
Right, garbage in, garbage out.
It's like a technological version of garbage in, garbage out.
Exactly.
So, she gives some really unsettling examples.
Like what?
Think about algorithms that steer low-paying jobs toward women,
Oh, yeah.
or delivery algorithms that bypass certain neighborhoods based on demographics.
That's interesting.
So these seemingly neutral systems can perpetuate real-world inequality.
Wow.
And it makes you wonder, how do we ensure fairness and equity when AI is involved?
Yeah, it's a big question.
It's clear that we can't just assume technology is a cure-all.
Right.
We need to be incredibly mindful of the consequences.
Absolutely. And I think that's something that O'Gieblyn does a really good job of in her book is
Yeah.
highlighting those potential consequences because
Yeah.
it's easy to get caught up in the excitement of all this new technology
Right.
and forget about, the potential downsides.
Absolutely.
So it's important to have those conversations.
And what I find so fascinating is how she connects these anxieties about technology to patterns throughout history.
Oh, interesting.
It's like we're not on this straight path of progress.
Yeah.
We keep wrestling with the same big questions about our place in the universe, just with different tools.
I like that.
So she compares modern transhumanists,
Okay.
those who believe technology can radically extend our lifespans,
Right.
to medieval alchemists searching for the elixir of life,
Oh, wow.
both driven by a desire to transcend our limitations, albeit with very different methods.
Interesting.
It makes you wonder, are we just recycling old desires with a new technological spin?
It's a good question.
And she also digs into this concept of emergence, both in nature and AI. Emergence.
Tell me more.
So how complex behaviors can arise from simpler systems.
Okay.
It's all over nature. Think of an ant colony.
Oh, yeah.
Each ant follows simple rules, but collectively they create this incredibly sophisticated system.
Right.
Or flocks of birds, beehives, even the internet itself. It's the power of the network.
Power of the network.
And this connects to the work of Rodney Brooks, the robotics pioneer.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of him.
So he built robots like Cog and Kismet
Cog and Kismet.
with a bottom-up approach.
Interesting.
So instead of programming complex thought processes directly,
Okay.
he focused on basic drives and the ability to learn through interaction.
So it's like he was trying to get intelligence to emerge organically from simple interactions, just like in nature.
Exactly.
Fascinating.
So Cog and Kismet, they learned some really basic skills, like recognizing objects,
Okay.
but they didn't achieve human-level intelligence.
Right.
Still, it raises the question, could our own consciousness be a form of emergent behavior? Could our thoughts and our sense of self arise from the complex interplay of neurons and sensory experiences?
That's a wild idea.
And as AI gets more sophisticated, it makes you think, what if we unintentionally create a form of machine consciousness through this kind of emergent process?
Whoa.
Now, that would really blur the lines between humans and machines.
That would be something else.
And speaking of blurred lines, O'Gieblyn talks about her own experiences with chatbots
Oh, yeah.
and this phenomenon called the uncanny valley.
The uncanny valley.
What's that? It's that feeling of unease we get when something is almost too human-like.
Oh, like when you see a robot that looks almost human, but not quite.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like our brains can't quite reconcile the familiar with the strange, and
And
it creates this sense of creepiness.
creepy.
And she connects this to the ethics of creating machines that are designed to elicit emotional responses.
Oh, wow.
So if we build machines that are eerily human, what responsibility do we have to them,
Right.
and how does it change us to interact with them?
That's a great question.
It's like stepping into a world where real and virtual boundaries are dissolving.
It really is.
And it definitely makes you think about where all this is heading.
For sure. I feel like we're just at the tip of the iceberg.
I agree, and it seems like she's suggesting that our relationship with technology goes way beyond mere convenience or entertainment.
Right. It's not just about making our lives easier. It's
Well-
about something much deeper.
It's woven into our sense of self, our search for meaning, our very understanding of the world.
Exactly.
And it's forcing us to confront what it means to be human in an age of intelligent machines.
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it?
As we were diving into all of this, it really struck me that O'Gieblyn highlights this very human struggle of grappling with these big ideas.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
What do you mean?
Well, she talks about how even while researching AI and technology, she still finds herself in awe of the natural world.
Oh, so like those moments where you feel connected to something bigger than yourself.
Exactly. She describes watching starlings and being mesmerized by their perfectly synced movements.
Wow.
It's like the feeling you get when you think about the vastness of the universe or the complexity of the human brain.
Yeah.
It's really amazing.
It makes you wonder if the search for meaning isn't limited to just religion or technology.
Right?
Perhaps it's more about being open to those moments of transcendence. Wherever we find them, nature, art, human connection, even contemplating these big scientific ideas.
I think that's a really beautiful way to put it.
Yeah.
It's like we have this innate capacity for awe and wonder,
Yeah.
and it can be sparked by so many things.
And maybe that's part of what makes us human, this ability to be moved by beauty and complexity, to feel connected to something larger than ourselves, and to constantly search for meaning.
It's a really beautiful thought.
It is a beautiful thought.
It reminds me of those times when I've felt that sense of awe, like watching a sunset or listening to a piece of music that just moves me.
We all have those moments, those glimpses of something beyond the everyday, and I think they're really essential to our well-being. They remind us that there's more to life than just the mundane. There's beauty and mystery all around us, if we just take the time to notice it.
And maybe that's a key takeaway here as we navigate this increasingly complex technological world.
Yeah.
It's important to nurture that sense of wonder,
Yeah.
to stay curious, and to keep asking those big questions.
Because the answers might surprise us, and the journey itself is often where the real magic lies.
Exactly.
One thing that really struck me about O'Gieblyn's book is how she weaves her personal experiences with these broader philosophical and technological questions.
You mean like how she uses her relationship with her robotic dog, IBO,
Exactly.
to explore the idea of anthropomorphism?
Or how she reflects on her own struggles with faith and doubt against the backdrop of these technological advancements that are blurring the lines between the human and the divine.
Right, and I think that's what makes her book so compelling.
Yeah.
She's not just throwing out these abstract ideas.
Right.
She's grounding them in her own life,
Mhm.
which makes them feel more relatable and human.
It's like she's inviting us to join her on this journey of exploration, acknowledging that there are no easy answers. But the process of asking the questions is really what matters.
And it's a process that we can all be a part of, regardless of our background or beliefs.
We all have a role to play in shaping the future of technology and how it impacts our lives and our understanding of ourselves and the world.
Right, technology is not something that just happens to us. It's something that we create.
Let's talk about some of the specific technologies that O'Gieblyn explores, because she doesn't just talk about AI in general. She dives into things like chatbots, virtual reality, even mind uploading.
Right, and each of those presents its own unique set of challenges and opportunities.
Take chatbots, for example. They're getting so advanced that it can be hard to tell them apart from real people,
And that raises questions about authenticity and deception.
especially as they're being used more and more in customer service therapy, even romantic relationships.
It's almost like we're creating a world where it's getting harder to know what's real.
And that has implications for trust intimacy, how we form meaningful connections.
We're entering uncharted territory where the rules of social interaction are being rewritten.
And we need to be aware of the potential consequences, both good and bad.
Absolutely. Then there's virtual reality, which promises these immersive experiences that can transport us to other worlds and even let us try on different identities.
It's a rapidly evolving technology with the potential to revolutionize everything from entertainment and education to healthcare and how we interact socially.
But there are also concerns about addiction and escapism and the blurring of lines between the virtual and the real.
What happens if we get so caught up in these virtual worlds that we lose touch with reality? Or if those experiences start to shape our beliefs in ways that we don't fully understand?
It's a fascinating and somewhat unsettling thought.
Then there's mind uploading, which is probably the most radical technology that O'Gieblyn discusses.
The idea of transferring our consciousness to a computer, achieving a kind of digital immortality.
It's been a staple of science fiction, but now some people believe it can actually happen.
And it raises these profound questions about consciousness, the meaning of life and death, and what it means to be human.
If we could upload our minds, would we still be ourselves? Would we keep our memories and experiences? Would we still feel emotions and have relationships?
And what would happen to our bodies? Would we just discard them, or would we need to keep them around to support our digital minds?
It's mind-blowing. It's hard to even wrap your head around the ethical and philosophical implications.
But it's a conversation that we need to be having now.
Yeah.
These technologies are developing quickly, and the decisions we make today will impact the future of humanity.
We've talked about some of the potential pros and cons of these emerging technologies, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts on the bigger picture here.
What do you mean?
Well, it seems like O'Gieblyn is saying that our relationship with technology is more than just convenience or entertainment.
Right. It's not just about making our lives easier or more fun.
Yeah. It's deeply intertwined with our sense of self, our search for meaning, our understanding of the world.
Exactly. And it's forcing us to confront some fundamental questions about what it means to be human in an age of intelligent machines.
And those questions aren't going away anytime soon.
No, they're only going to become more pressing as technology keeps advancing.
So what do we do?
There's no easy answer, but I think it starts with awareness.
Awareness of
Awareness of how technology shapes our thoughts, our beliefs, our actions.
and awareness of the potential consequences, both positive and negative, of how we develop and use it.
We need to be thoughtful, critical, and have these open and honest discussions about the future that we want to create.
And we need to remember that technology isn't some independent force. It's a tool, and we can use it to build a better world, or we can use it to reinforce existing inequalities.
The choice is ultimately ours.
And it's a choice we need to make together.
Because the future of humanity is at stake.
Yeah, these are big stakes.
They are big stakes.
It feels like we've been on this incredible intellectual journey
It has been a journey.
with all this material that you've shared.
So much to think about.
We've gone from robot dogs to the simulation hypothesis.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
It's been a whirlwind.
A whirlwind of ideas.
It really highlights how technology touches on so many different aspects of our lives and our deepest questions.
It really does. It makes you think.
And as technology continues to evolve, those questions are only going to get bigger and more complex.
Oh, for sure.
Exactly. We're in the midst of this technological revolution that's changing everything,
It really is changing everything.
from how we connect with each other to how we understand our place in the universe.
And how we understand ourselves.
And it's forcing us to rethink what it means to be human in this world where machines are becoming increasingly intelligent.
Yeah, where the lines are getting blurred.
It's like we're standing at a crossroads with so many paths ahead of us.
So many possibilities.
And the choices that we make today are going to determine the kind of future that we create.
That's a big responsibility.
It is a big responsibility.
Yeah.
This brings us back to that idea of re-enchanting the world that we talked about earlier.
Oh, right.
Remember, O'Gieblyn argues that even in our secular, tech-driven age, we still crave transcendence.
That yearning for something more.
That yearning for meaning and purpose, something that connects us to something bigger than ourselves.
Yeah, I think that's a very human desire.
And perhaps technology can help us explore those deeper questions.
Maybe it can be a tool.
Maybe not as a replacement for spirituality, but as a tool for expanding our understanding.
Right. I think that's the key.
I see a lot of potential there, but it requires us to be very deliberate about how we use technology.
We can't just let it use us.
We need to be aware of how it can distract us, isolate us, even manipulate us.
All those things are possible.
But we also need to be open to the possibilities, that the ways that it can connect us, empower us, help us to learn and grow.
It's a balancing act.
It is a tightrope walk, for sure.
For sure.
But one that we have to master if we want a future that's both technologically advanced and fulfilling for humanity.
I agree with that.
You know, it strikes me that we've only just dipped our toes into this vast and intricate topic.
Oh, yeah. We've just scratched the surface.
There's always more to learn, more questions to ask.
It's a never-ending journey.
And I think that's what makes it so fascinating. The journey is just as important as the destination.
I like that.
It's about staying curious, staying engaged, and staying open to what's possible.
And remembering that we're all in this together.
And remembering that we're all in this together.
We're all part of this amazing experiment called humanity.
And we have the power to shape the future.
We do.
So to all of you listening out there, keep exploring these ideas, keep having these conversations, and be active participants in building the future that you want to see.
That's a great message.
Because the future isn't something that just happens to us. It's something that we create together.
It's up to us.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope it's given you some food for thought.
Lots to think about.
Until next time, keep questioning, keep learning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Keep exploring.
Keep exploring.